Breaking news, the pullout of Afghanistan. Hello, I'm Emmett Jameson from SS Social CN, and I'm prepared to take you on an adventure into a place of turmoil, despair, and hope. Well, a place also known as Afghanistan. So join me on an excursion that will change your life. The pullout of Afghanistan is a plan initially brought up by the Barack Obama administration in its efforts to be elected in 2008. This plan includes all U.S. involvement in Afghanistan be done with by 2016 or by the next election term. But even with this being said, there are still some problems and issues that currently exist that clash with the final plan of a successful pullout. But there are still some issues with Obama's plan for a successful pullout by 2015. One of those issues include a new radical Islamic group that call themselves ISIS. This new group, ISIS, brings up new conflicting topics and discussions about the pullout of Afghanistan. This group causes mass destruction of the surrounding areas as well. Some of the more recent but notorious acts include bombings, destruction of Asian artifacts, mass murders, and film executions of many religions, which include Christianity, Judaism, and even Islam. With the extermination of this group, many things can happen in the future, like the pullout to be successful, as well as to avoid any further conflicts down the road. Another current problem with the pullout of Afghanistan is the current military situation concerning preparedness with the current Afghan military. The current Afghan military is underprepared and not well trained enough for our pullout to be successful yet. According to multiple sources, most of them say the Afghan military is not quite large enough, prepared, or trained for us leaving yet. But there is still hope. There is still hope yet. With the pullout already in effect, the remaining U.S. forces have been put in charge of training and assisting the current Afghan military in their attempts to root out the situation of the uprising of ISIS. This new group has also been raising issues and havoc recently, as well as which brings up new topics and discussions about us leaving it. The U.S. had also had past involvement in Afghanistan in addition to the more recent topics of today. In between the years of 1979 and 1989, which was near the end of the Cold War, the Soviet Union had invaded Afghanistan in response to the current situation of the overthrow of the current government at the time. The Soviet Union had done this because, for one, the current government at the time was their puppets and gave them resources like oil to supply the war machines. 2, to spread their influence in government structure of communism. And 3, to gain a larger empire and to spread their influence. Now, the well-armed Soviet Union forces and the current but corrupt Central Afghan military were up against the little-armed but fearless Sunni fighters, freedom fighters who call themselves the Mujahideen. As the U.S. heard about this problem, they immediately sent aid by sending food, supplies, ammo, and other valuable information and resources to aid the Mujahideen forces in their effort to rebuke the Soviet forces and the Central Afghan military. Eventually, over the course of 10 years, the Mujahideen forces have prevailed over the Soviets and the current Afghan government at the time. But with all the weaponry, supplies, and training left behind by both the Soviets and the Americans, the new radical battle-hardened groups like the Al-Qaeda and Taliban would about to lead to future conflicts in the near future. And finally, the last example of the United States' involvement in Afghanistan is fairly recent this time. After the attacks of 9/11, our president at the time, George H.W. Bush, had declared war on terrorism publicly, according to the just war documents. Taliban officials and groups had invaded surrounding countries in their last and final efforts to spread their influence and their religious ideals. In pursuit of these groups and officials, the U.S. had entered into Afghanistan in order to root out these people. As years had progressed, they found an abundance of resources like oil, coal, diamonds, gold, and other valuables, as well as our top leaders like Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, along with others, started Al-Qaeda and eventually spread out into other groups like ISIS. But over the years, as a long and seemingly endless war has been going on, with promise by the next election term, the war will be over for the U.S. With ISIS, resources, and the Afghani military problems taken care of, the United States can officially leave Afghanistan with security of there not being another uncontrollable uprising or group. That's all for now. See y'all next time. Images of this program are provided by Google Images.